Welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, spawning in on the left-hand side of the map. It's our favorite person to cast. It's the one, the only, the Krakeny. And he's going to be in the color light blue, playing as the Malians today. Probably his second favorite civilization after the Chinese. We see him on the Civ. An awful Lani. He loves to do some trading, loves to do some different strategies. So we're gonna have to see what he's up to today, but gonna be opening up with a pit mine and the two houses for the time being. Looks like he's gonna be chopping some more as well. So it looks like it's gonna be at least 4 houses. We'll check in with his opponent, spawning on the right hand side of the map in the color pink. It's gonna be Recon, and Recon today is gonna be playing as the Mongols. Both civilizations that have to move out for their little pit mines, or as the Uvu have an Uvu. So we see Recon, they're going to be moving out onto wood. So probably going to be looking to do a little bit of tower rushing today. And it makes sense up against the Malians. I mean, you know, they've got lots of free buildings right here that love to be burned down. So we're going to have to see what Krakeny does to try and stop this. Because it can be one of two things that we've actually seen. The first thing is to try and age up as quickly as you possibly can. And you go up with the Saharan trade network and you stick it right next to your pit mine. You can stick it right here. And it's, or, you know, maybe Krakeny built these houses in a little bit of a wrong position, because you can build it in a spot here where your villages are protected. And once that building, the landmark goes up, it will protect your whole pit mine. But that's not going to be the case, because Krakeny's gone for the other option of actually just opening up with a barracks of his own. And as we can see, Recon there is building the barracks. Krakeny did spot that out. We see his scout is over here, making sure he's gathering up all that crucial information. So once that double production of spears does come out for Recon, Krakeny's already going to have a Donzo of his own. And by then, he might even have the second one out. But we can see only two houses on this pit mine. Which, I mean, the standard is at least 4. I mean, very rarely we see 2 these days. It just makes sense to do at least 4. You know, most of the time even 6. Just use up all those straggler trees. But we see Krakeny still got 4 villagers there on the straggler tree. And, oh, what is he doing here? I think he's garrisoning them and then ungarrisoning them to drop off the food really quickly. I think that's actually really smart. Yeah, that is the case, and that means he can keep rallying these units, the villagers and the Donzo. That's really smart. We can see already got 2 Donzos in there. Villager gonna be walking back. I think he's just looking to group up with the spearmen. Interesting. Recon did send out a villager. We see the 2 spearmen still making their way forward, but the villager actually returning back home. And that must be because Recon spotted this out. We're right on board Recon's perspective right now. That villager's just returning home. I think he realizes that Donzo are out for Krakeny, and he's not going to be able to get up a tower because the Donzos can just focus down the villager. And once the villager's gone down, the spearmen don't really matter that much. The spearmen are purely here just to defend that villager. I mean, sure, they can do a little bit of burning, but, you know, the town center fire plus the Donzo, it's going to be quite tricky. So Recon sends back that villager, and he's not going to be able to find much value here. I mean, Krakeny has invested quite a bit into 3 Donzos, and that looks like the amount he's going to be sticking with 4 Donzos, sorry, for the time being. But Recon's also gone for 4. Obviously, some of them being double produced. So it does look like Recon is going to have the earlier age up. But we see Krakeny going to be expanding out onto the pit mine a little bit more. Up to 4 houses now, but still making more Donzo. I mean, he might be able to do a little bit of gold denial, but it's a bit late at this point. Already Recon up to 160 gold, 170. So it's going to be quite tricky for Krakeny to try and make use of these to try and deny a resource, especially with an outpost coming up now as well. And this Uvu is very close to the town center. So Recon's actually got a really, really decent spawn here to have all of these so close to each other. I mean, definitely a decent spawn when it comes to that Uvu. But it looks like Recon's just going to be falling back for the time being. Krakeny getting a nice couple shots off with his Donzo onto these guys, which is always nice. Wolf going to be helping out there as well. And look at what we have coming in from Recon. It's going to be the silver tree. Okay, this is going to be really interesting. We are on the map Lipany, which, I mean, it's not a terrible map to trade, but it's the trade post you would usually want right in the corner. And we can see on Lipany, not quite at the corner, but it's still a pretty decent trade route, especially if you get your silver tree up down here. And Lipany's got some nice little cliffs as well, so it makes it a little bit easier to wall. And Krakeny gonna be going up with the Saharan trade network. Is this gonna be a trade-off right now? Is it gonna be a trade-off? And we see Krakeny's gonna be using these Donzos as well to protect these. Only 2 villagers actually coming out for Krakeny, not many at all. But sending out 2 villagers here to build this Saharan trade network. And this is a great position because he's securing up this trade post. And this is the most important thing to defend when you're doing trade, because if this thing gets denied, that's it, your trade's gone, because there's nowhere else you can trade it. Obviously you can trade with your opponent's trade site, but that's going to be extremely tricky to trade with. It's like it's on their side of the map. That's going to be way too difficult. So I like that Krakeny's moved out here, pulled some more villagers as well. 6 villagers there on that landmark. And I really like how he's built it next to this trade site, because usually what we see a lot of people do is just build this landmark like at the back of the base here. But he's on purposely moved out next to this trade post to really secure this up, and he can protect it with these Donzos as well. Now we see the silver tree is going to be moving out a little bit. It's still in the influence of this Uvu, so that doesn't mean he can double produce these guys. I do believe he is in influence. You can see the little plus there. So he's probably going to be looking to double produce these guys. But obviously, you don't want to keep the silver tree here. You want to... Well, you can set up another market, to be fair, at the corner of the base here, if you want to keep that double production on the silver tree. Khan going to be scouting out this trade post as well. We see Krakeny looking to get up some walls, obviously, for the market. And I mean, it's not the best spawn for Krakeny, I'll be honest. Like... You know, having a nice big tree patch right here would be really nice. If he had these cliffs and forests at this side, that would have been really huge. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for Krakeny to try and secure up this position. But again, this isn't the neutral trade site, so he can always build a market here and continue trading from here to the market. Obviously not going to be as efficient, but it's still something that you can make your traders do while this part of the map is being contested, if Recon does look to pressure that part of the map. But we see lots of archers looking to come out now. Recon actually using his double production on archers. Is this silver tree just a bait? He's not produced anything out of it yet. He has got it rallied to the trade post, so I would expect some traders coming out soon. But it looks like Recon's really looking to put on a lot of aggression. So maybe this was a little bit of a bait to get Krakeny to overinvest into trade straight away. And now we can punish him by massing up all of these archers and spearmen. As we can see, Krakeny only has Donzos at the moment. They are going to be able to get some nice shots off there onto the Khan. But Recon's going to be looking to push forwards with these archers. It's going to be quite tricky for Krakeny to try and hold this. We see how much damage these archers do. Able to 2-shot the Donzos right there. A nice little shot. Oh, that's close. One more spear shot onto that Khan and he would have gone down. But we see Krakeny going to be losing all of the Donzos right now. He's managing to get up these walls on the backline. We have traders already making their way over. Only 86 gold a trade. Not the best. However, these tall outposts are going up as well. Going to be providing a whole heap of resources. We'll take a look to see how much they are in just a second. As you can see, Recon's going to be picking off a villager here. One villager down for Krakeny. We see Krakeny still 3 villagers, or 3 economic units ahead. And that is down to those traders. You can see that 86 gold. But we see Recon just looking to burn down some of these houses. Now looking to take out the pit mine. And we start to see some javelin throws coming out from Krakeny. Double archery range down for him. So really looking to get these guys out. And these guys are going to be able to secure up this position. For at least this composition for now. We're going to have to see what Recon looks to add in behind this. We can see he's added in a second town center. Still no trade. We see the trade. Oh, the market's actually been moved to the corner. The silver tree is moving down to the trade site right now. But Recon just looking to try and pressure this pit mine for the time being. Lots of javelin throwers. Well, 4 of them at the moment. Not a sufficient mass to try and take out these archers. We can see the archers can just rush forwards, try and get a couple of shots off. But javelin throwers do a hell of a lot of damage towards these archers. So Recon definitely needs to be careful. But let's try and take a look, see how much these traders get from passing these tall outposts. It is going to be on the way here. So there we go. 8 gold plus and 8 food. So that's a pretty decent number. I mean, times that by 5 for each trader. That's pretty decent. What would that actually be? 8 times 5. 40 gold. I mean, yeah, that's like half of what he's already getting. So that's pretty huge. That is, yeah, so these toll outposts definitely coming in clutch. And I think, yeah, he also gets the Saharan Trade Network buff here as well, which gives, which will give 8 food for each trip. Instead of just the 4 as all the other toll outposts give. But we see Krakeny sticking with the 6 javelins at the moment. He's got more on the way. Donzo starting to make their way back onto the field as well. And it looks like for the time being, Krakeny is going to be able to hold this. Repairing up those houses as well. Recon's just going to be falling back. But he's on 2 town centers. And is he finally adding in trade? Yes, he is. There we go. Look at the trade. It's on the way. Outpost being set up now as well. And we see for Recon, the trade is a lot higher. Look at that. 99 gold and 9 food. So, I mean, these 2 civilizations right here are really the 2 best civilizations for trade. I mean, maybe the Abbasid, but then again, the Abbasid, you need to get all of those Castle Age techs, the Imperial techs, to get all of the really good buffs. Whereas these 2 civilizations, they've got their trade buffs right here, right now. You know, the Malians having these toll outposts, giving half of what they already get, which is pretty huge. And then the cheaper Mongol traders as well, also affected by the Yam. So that's always nice as well. Krakeny now looking to push forwards with his army. 1 Donzo, 9 javelin throwers. And we see he's actually got them rallied over here to the deer. So he probably spots out that deer are starting to die. And this is the sort of place that Recon will be looking to try and expand out onto. And immediately after that, he's got them rallied down onto that trade. So it looks like Krakeny really wants to try and deny this trade. I mean, this is one major downside of the Mongols, is that they don't have walls. I mean, for being such a good trade civilization, not having walls is probably the biggest downside. I mean, we can see Krakeny's secure this up really nicely with his walls. He might want to get another couple walls this side, but he's got this Saharan Trade Network there. A couple villages here for Recon being picked off. But yeah, it's something that the Mongols definitely lack when it comes to defense. That is their walls. And this is actually huge for Krakeny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 villagers being picked off right there. I mean, the Master Recon not building either, because he's aging up at the moment. And it's actually going to be the Coral Tie. And I mean, yeah, Step Redoubt not going to be as important when you've got trade. But I mean, the trade at the moment isn't looking too good. We got a couple horsemen coming out from Recon here. The 1 Donzo is going to be picked off pretty quickly, and it looks like Krakeny is going to be losing out on all of these units right here. He's trying to make the most of the javelin throws as he can, trying to take out those archers. A lot of archers actually go down there. And the javelin throwers, we do have the arrow slits outpost on the back line as well. So all of those javelin throwers are going to be going down, and the trade continues to boom. And look how much gold we have coming in now. 109 gold, 9 food, and 9 wood. Whereas over here for Krakeny, we've got the 86 gold and then the 40 extra gold and 20 food. Actually, it'll be 24 food because of this. So, I mean, yeah, they're pretty equal. But obviously, Krakeny at the moment, he has got way more trade. We can actually take a look. If we click on this market here, we've got 23 traders for Krakeny, whereas only the 11 for Recon. And we can see that difference there for Krakeny is he's 5 economic units ahead at the moment. But Recon does have that second town center down. But traders are a lot more efficient than villagers when it comes to making gold. So I would say Krakeny is probably ahead by quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but he's ahead by a little bit for the time being. We see the Coral Tie going to be moving into the base of Krakeny right here. And Krakeny still sits in the feudal age, but I mean, for the Malians, it's not that bad. Sitting in the feudal age up against Castle Age is not as bad as it would be for some civilizations because of the Muso Fighting Warrior. This is basically having a crossbowman in Age 2. Obviously, they do die pretty quickly to any sort of archer. And obviously, they're not the best unit, but they're definitely a decent unit when it comes to heavy armored units. And that's what the Mongols love to make. They love their men-at-arms. They love their knights. And we see there, the Kurultai has been picked off. Krakeny, he's not going to be able to get up the walls in time. Maybe if he did a bit of body blocking there, he might have been able to have captured it in the wall. But Krakeny now going to be finishing up those walls. And the Kurultai has a... So we actually see Recon picking up the faster movement speed on his buildings. And interesting here from Recon, he's actually building the Kurultai. I mean, his army's on the way, but that is not a big enough mass to deal with this. Especially when you've got many Musofadi warriors here. And that Kurultai might even be going down before that. Recon definitely playing it interesting here with the Kurultai. You can see it does heal up the units there. Also gives that plus 25% damage when the Khan is there as well. But the age up going to be coming through from Krakeny now. So it looks like he just wants to buy himself some time with these walls. It's alright if Recon looks to push forward. As long as Krakeny can grab his upgrades in time. And we see lots of gold still left for Krakeny in the base. So he's going to be alright for the time being when it comes to producing units out of this. I mean, why am I talking about the gold mines? He's got the trade behind here. So, I mean, yeah, this landmark makes a lot of sense. Really no need to go for the cow landmark or the little coral. I don't know how you say it. But this landmark makes a lot of sense, getting these units for the gold cost. We see all of those veterancy upgrades are coming in for Krakeny. Veterancy Musofadi warriors. That is going to be the most important upgrade here, as he has got 20 of them. And mainly the composition out of Recon is heavy units here. And we'll zoom in here and we see the Musofadi warrior is going to be doing so much damage up against the men-at-arms. However, the Khan is here with the Kurultai providing that plus 25% damage. Maybe this isn't a fight Krakeny wants to be taking. I mean, the healing on the backline here as well. Going to be really helping out with those men-at-arms. And Krakeny just losing everything right now. Recon looking really strong. He's got crossbows on the backline as well. I mean, crossbows, interesting choice up against the Malians considering they have not a single heavy unit. I mean, archers are really the cool here. I'm not really sure what the decision is there with the crossbow. But javelin throwers can sit behind the wall here, dealing quite a bit of damage there onto the men-at-arms. But that once that wall goes down, Krakeny's going to be in some trouble. We see more Musofadi warriors are in the queue here for the Firmba garrison. We've got more in the barracks as well. Krakeny should be able to hold this. He's got a lot of production. No Sprungleton placement in on these outposts. But the Warriors, can Recon find a hole with some of these knights? We see only one knight is here for the time being, but if some knights get through onto this trade, that could be trouble for him. And we see Krakeny's finding it very hard to keep this position right now. Archers on the backline dealing so much damage towards these Musofadi warriors. Krakeny really needs to micro down all of these archers with these javelin throwers, and that is what he's doing at the moment. But he just needs to make sure he keeps these guys alive. These Musofadi warriors are really, really important here at keeping these alive. And there's hardly any left for Krakeny at this point. 10 remaining. But the Musofadi warrior mass is really looking quite strong now. Siege Workshop on the back line here for Recon is going to be caught out of position. He should be able to pack it up and move it in time. We see here Krakeny is going straight for the tower. A nice little hold there for Krakeny. I mean, the Firmba garrison, these guys get produced so quick. I mean, 16 seconds for 5 of these for only 320 gold is absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, look at the production on the backline. I mean, Krakeny right now, 3,000 gold a minute. Absolutely crazy compared to Recon's. I mean, it's still impressive, 2,000 gold a minute. But when you've got a landmark like this, that's when the 3,000 gold a minute really matters. But obviously, Recon up to 2,000 food a minute compared to Krakeny's 1,000. And then both looking pretty equal on the wood front. So both players looking very, very even at the moment. But Krakeny, obviously, he's got the military mass now. I mean, Recon's looking to build up his army in his base now, as he has lost that forward position and the Kurultai goes down. This is not what Recon wants at all. I mean, he could have at least tried and brought it back a little bit. Because that fight, he had plus 25% damage and a little healing buff. And now he's got none of that. And Krakeny's got a much, much bigger army. And we see all of these guys are in stealth. They're all in stealth. We'll take a look at Recon's perspective. We actually missed them coming out of stealth. But that's a huge, massive not javelin throwers. Muso fighting warriors. It did seem like Krakeny wants to try and get in on that trade, but he can get in from many directions. We see more Muso fighting warriors and javelin throwers making their way on the left-hand side of the map. He's distracted the whole army. Recon's army now going to have to redirect, and this could be Krakeny going to find 7 villagers over here. Not too much of an importance at this point in the game, but it's always nice. But a mangonel coming out now from a Recon, we can see there. Now, these guys are going to be doing pretty well up against these Muso fighting warriors. Obviously, these guys are very low health. So, despite mangonels not having bonus damage against these guys, they do still do a lot of damage. And Recon probably can take this fight. I mean, yeah, this is a bad fight for Krakeny. But at the same time, fights happening on both sides of the map right now. Krakeny looking to try and clean up this army with his Muso fighting warriors. We see crossbowmen and archers here being taken out. I still don't understand the decision with crossbow from Recon. I mean, Mongols usually love the crossbow composition, but really not needed up against the Malians here when they're making Muso fighting warriors and javelin throwers. We can see there the mangonel getting a nice shot off there. Recon's looking pretty decent. I mean, he managed to clean up the left-hand side, and Krakeny did manage to win the fight on the right-hand side, but only 10 Muso fighting warriors remaining. And the reinforcements should be able to clean that out pretty easily. We have horsemen out now as well, so these guys are going to be able to shred through these guys. That's if Recon reacts to it. I mean, the Muso fighting warriors at the moment just happily making their way through the base. And I would assume not be going for the villagers. Oh, it seems like... I mean, the rally point seems like it might be, but... yeah, it's going to be for the trade. It's got to be. And we see Muso fighting warriors in over here as well. Springwood emplacement comes in on those outposts, so those guys are going to be cleaned up pretty quickly. But have a look at this. Behind this, Krakeny has aged up with the Fort of the Huntress. Going to be on the sacred site here. So, nice little Imperial Age up there from Krakeny. Seems like we've got a little bit of traffic here from Recon. All of his traders. I mean, that is not efficient right there, but not gonna be causing too many issues. We'll take a look, see how many traders each player is up to. We have Recon at 32 compared to Krakeny, who currently sits at 46. So Krakeny's still not miles ahead. He's still relatively ahead on traders. And we see behind this as well, we've got a cow boom coming through from him as well. So really looking to get all of that passive income. As we see, he's already got all of those houses around the pit mines as well. Surprisingly, hasn't picked up any of the relics. I mean, we got 2 relics, 3 relics that are pretty easy for him to get. 4th one's going to be a little bit tricky. And we do see actually Recon managed to pick one up earlier. Where is that monastery? We can see down here, he's got one in the bank. I'm not exactly sure where that... oh, it's right here. It's right here. There we go. The prayer tent. So, yeah, a little bit surprised by that. Usually when we see the Malians age to 3, they love to pick up the relics. But I guess not really too important when you've got all of this traders. Recon looking to just position himself. He's got the mangonel here as well. Krakeny's going to need to come up with some sort of answer. But we can see these Muso fighting warriors are going to be able to put themselves into stealth. So might be able to get a nice little angle in on that mangonel. But it's really important to take this guy out before it gets off too many shots. And Recon might be able to get a nice shot here. Not too much damage there. But we can see this guy's going to be doing a lot of damage. Just... oh, yeah. I mean... it's not as much as it would be doing against ranged units, but yeah, that's not a pretty fight for Krakeny. But we actually see behind this, Recon's going to be aging up himself. He's bringing in the relics. It's going to be the White Stupa. Let me actually spot where that landmark is. There it is. It's in the back of the base here, surrounding those pastures. But Krakeny right now is going to be pushing into the base, and he's got a perfect timing here. Recon is currently aging up, not got a lot of food in the bank, and it's going to make it really hard for him to produce units. Luckily for him, he's still got quite a decent mass here of horsemen, and not a lot of Donzos out from Krakeny. I mean, Krakeny at this point probably wants to mass up a little bit of Donzo just to get that brace off. But we also have some Musofadi gunners out here as well. Going to be doing some nice damage. Wololo going to be coming off here. Krakeny going to be losing some sofas, it seems. He just deletes them. Good play right there by Krakeny. Going to be taking out the Mangonel as well. I mean, that's some decent value there from these elite sofas. So Krakeny looking to go into elite sofas now. And we have lots of Musofadi gunners coming out from the Firmba garrison. I mean, these guys are expensive. Look at that, 960 gold. But it's worth it. Those guys in a mass are so powerful. And when you've got elite sofas there as a nice front line as well, it's going to make it really, really tricky for Recon to push that back. We can see the age up does come through from Recon now. Krakeny's lost his timing, as we do see those. Well, we don't actually have any Imperial upgrades coming in yet, but they'll be on their way shortly. But it's alright. Krakeny can mass up these Musofadi gunners. He's got the elite sofas on the way as well. Double C's workshop going to be dropped down as well now, around the Fort of the Huntress. And more farms and very, very forward farms here. I guess he's not... Krakeny, you got... I was about to say he doesn't have a lot of space, but I mean, look at this. Perfect space right here. This is the real estate you want to be going for, Krakeny. But we see just more and more traders. Krakeny, you're a madman. 57 traders, and look at all the cattle as well. I mean, the amount of passive income Krakeny is getting right now is absolutely crazy. He's still got the relics here as well. I really want him to pick up those relics, as we do see Recon has 3 of his own now. And we actually have a double production of 1 Culverin and 1 Trebuchet. I mean, Culverin going to be really decent here, denying any sort of Mangonels. And I mean, Mangonels are the biggest threat to Musofadi gunners. I mean, not a lot else cancel these guys. I mean, maybe mass horsemen, but even then they still get shredded. This is the one true counter to any sort of hand cannoneer, Musofadi gunner, any of those kind of units. Streltsy. So having the Culverin here is really, really important. We got more and more trebuchets coming in as well. Nice little tower here. Going to be providing that nice line of sight, and it should mean Krakeny should be able to start to siege down some of the base here for Recon. And we have, look at this, a nice little stealth coming in here. Going to reveal himself burning down that outpost. More villagers are going to be caught off guard here. I mean, yeah, it's going to be revealed very quickly with all of these outposts. And we're going to have to see what Recon decides to do. He's moving his whole army. I mean, we still got a pretty decent mass over here from Krakeny. And look at this. Elite Sofa's going to be killing some of the trade. I mean, this is not what Recon wants at all right now. He's not actually got that much resources in the bank. I mean, it's still a hefty amount, but... And look at this. The Musofadi warriors have made their way onto this trade as well. This is perfect for Krakeny. And on the front line here as well, he's slowly pushing forwards with these trebuchets, and he's got a nice little defensive mass of Musofadi gunners as well. More archery range is going to be dropped down, and that is probably going to be for some more Musofadi gunners. That market's going to be taken out as well. Recon's army is here, going to be able to take that out. And look at this. I mean, he's just trying to prove a point. I mean, 4 market... Krakeny, you taking out that 1 market meant nothing. Builds 4. So we do see here Krakeny's army is going to be starting to be taken out right there. Hand cannoneers coming in from Recon. And it looks like Krakeny looking to push to the front of the base here. 40 villagers for Recon just sitting underneath the town center right here. Not all of these guys are going to be able to fit in the TC. And we hit a huge Mangonel shot and bombard on the backline here. Mangonel not focusing down the Musofadi gunners at all. Where's the Culverin? Krakeny bring forward the Culverin. Huge shot for the Mangonels onto the Musofadi gunners. I mean, not actually that many villagers lost here for Recon. We can take a look. Down to 20. I mean, that's quite a few villagers. I take that back. That's a lot of villagers. We see Recon down to 110 economy over to, well, Krakeny on 135. And there we go. The Culverin does take out that Mangonel. But that Mangonel just had so much value taking out those Musofadi gunners. But it's alright. Krakeny's got more and more units on the way. We've got more and more Musofadi gunners. More elite Sopas as well coming in. And it looks like Recon's struggling a little bit here on the food and the gold. I mean, another... Oh, okay. I think he'll be alright for gold in a second. That's like 2,800 gold coming in right there. But food seems to be the big issue for him. just look at the mass coming through from Krakeny. I mean, it's just mass Muso Fadi warrior, mass Muso Fadi gunner, elite sofas being thrown in there as well. And it just works so well. And yet we still have crossbow coming out from Recon. I really don't see why he's choosing this over just archers. It really doesn't make any sense. But we see Cobram going to be taking some shots there onto the bombard. Gonna have to pull back for the time being. And lots of spearmen now as well coming through from Recon, trying to deal with those sofa. It looks like the Cobram might be taken out here for Krakeny. Manages to save it just in time. Not many Muso Fadi gunners left here for Krakeny. We see the bombard getting a few nice shots off there. Not exactly sure. What is Krakeny doing? What is going on with these trebuchets? Krakeny. What is going on? He must have had that like control group to like his javelin throwers or something. What is going on? Oh, but Krakeny now still looking to push forwards, and Recon's food economy, I mean, say the same regard, Krakeny's food economy absolutely, you know, tanking right now. I mean, 300 food in the bank right there. 2 mangonels making their way to the front line here. Krakeny, you need to be careful. That's a huge shot. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. Luckily for Krakeny, these are only javelin throwers, so not going to be as bad as if they were Muso Fadi gunners, which we still have coming out of the Frumba garrison. But Krakeny is still pop capped, so I mean 140, that is villagers, so yeah, definitely looking good when it comes to the eco front. But Recon's managed to caught back up. We see 41 villagers hit on the food. That is crazy. I mean, look at all those villagers. We can see here Krakeny's just looking to push forwards a little bit, bringing a villager with him as well. Villager wanting to get in on the action. I wonder if that's going to be for a bit of a keep drop, but we don't see any more villagers on the way. But yeah, maybe yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that's doing yet. But I mean, you know, Recon really could have done with the Kurultai in the base. I mean, think about the amount of fights that he's been taking right here. Imagine that with plus 25 damage with a little trickle of healing as well. It would have been huge. We see Javelin, Colvin taking shots, taking out both mangonels. Now looking to try and take out the bombard as well. Elite Javelin throwers looking to try and do as much damage as possible. But Krakeny, it seems like he's starting to run out of food. He's still at pop cap right now. We see he's got a ton of Muso Fadi warriors still in the queue. But it looks like Recon's going to be able to push him out for the time being. That villager looking to build a tall outpost is going to be going down. And these javelin throwers doing quite a bit of work right now. But Krakeny's managed to build up. I mean, look at how fast his mass can just rebuild. Absolutely crazy stuff. But maybe Krakeny wants to get in a mangonel or 2 of his own, because once these hand cannoneer mass start to build, it's going to be really tricky for him to push this back. But I mean, the mass for Krakeny is just building so quickly, especially with it when he's got Muso Fadi gunners of his own. We see 5 in there, and I think it's just overwhelming Recon way too much. And the next issue comes in from Recon. Wood is looking like it's going to be a big issue. He's moved out to the left hand side of the map here. For his wood, we can see he's completely exhausted everything around here. And Krakeny just looking so good right now. How many traders is he on? He's on 60 traders right now. That is crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, both players going absolutely crazy this game with the trade. This is not looking too good for Recon at all. I mean, Colbran still alive for Krakeny. He needs to pull this forward and he needs to take out that mangonel. I mean, mangonels can really change the whole game here. Imagine a mangonel coming in from Krakeny right now to take this out. I mean, how many villagers is that right there? 40 villagers just sitting here. Oh, a mangonel to the face right now would be huge. But yeah, these guys are going to be taken out by the horsemen, and Recon's just losing everything right now. I mean, sure, he's still got the crazy trade, but really not looking too good for him at the moment. You can see GG does get called. Well, there we go. The 2 best trading civilizations in the game face up against each other. Unfortunately for Recon, not going to be taking the dub this time. GG goes over to Krakeny. So if you did enjoy this, guys, please do feel free to leave a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.